Hello traders, welcome back to this video. My name is Anthony. So in today's video, it's quite different from what we have been talking about. Remember, in trading, we have um, three types of market analysis, whereby the major one, which we all know, is the technical analysis. We also have the fundamental analysis, and we also have the sentimental analysis, which I know not many people talk about the sentiment analysis, but for the sake of this video, we are going to talk about the fundamental market analysis, which simply talks about the news. One of you on the comment section requested me to do this video on the news. So the guy requested me uh, to show you guys where should you look at the news, and I'll go an extra mile and tell you which news should you avoid and which news should you take part in, because not every news has a significant effect when it comes to the market. All right. So here on the chart or here on the screen, you can see I have highlighted some major news that you should avoid, guys. You should avoid these news because for me, I normally say the best way to trade news is not trading at all, because the news, there are so many things that comes with the high impact news. Because first of all, the brokers, they tend to have high spreads, big spreads, and also the slippage. So if the news tends to go against your direction, then you might end up losing you more than what you are risking. So for this tends to happen because of the spreads. So for example, if I can give an example, maybe you might have been risking like $100 in a trade, but because of the spreads during the high impact news, you might end up even losing even $150 and above. So I just urge you guys, when you have this high impact news, just stay away from the market. If you want to trade this, just wait for the news to be released. Then afterward, you can now look for a trade. If you have to trade when you have the high impact news, just wait for the news to be released. Then after that, you can look for a trade. Are you getting? So now here on the screen, you can see I have highlighted high impact news in Forex market. We have the CPI news, which is the Consumer Price Index. We have the FOMC, that is the Federal Open Market Committee. And we have the ADP Non-Farm Employment Change, which by you all know it by the name NFP. And we also have unemployment claims. So these are the big four news that I tend to avoid when I see them on the charts. Now the question is, how do you see this news? Where do you see this news? Or where can we check our calendar for this news? Now, there are so many different platforms that you can use to look for this news, but I like to use the Forex Factory. I like to use the Forex Factory because it is easy to use, guys. Just go to your browser and type Forex Factory Economic Calendar. Then this is what you will see. So when you open the platform, this is what you will see. You will have several icons here on the top. We have the forums, we have the trades, we have the news, we have the calendar, markets, and brokers. The thing that we are going to talk about here today is calendar. So you can download it, guys. You can also download it into your PC or even into your mobile phone. It is also available for the download. So when you get into the platform, you can create your account, then you log in. So I do have an account, but for the sake of this video, I've logged out for you to show you what you need to see. Now, when you open your platform, this is what you will see. there are a lot of news here on this platform. So do you have to look for all these news, guys? No. So on the top right, there's this icon written as filter. So you click on filter. Then on filter, we'll see here we have expected impact. Now, the first box we'll have the high impact news. We have the medium. Then we have the low impact news here. So I want you to do this. So make sure the first two are ticked, the high impact news and the medium impact news. So unclick this and unclick the low impact news. So these are the only news that you would like to see, the high impact news and the medium impact news. Then on the right, now this depends on you. Which currencies do you trade, guys? So for me, I don't trade AUD, so I will untick that. I don't trade CAD. I don't trade CHF. I don't trade CNY. I trade Euro. I trade GBP. I trade JPY. I don't trade NSD, and I trade USD. So it depends with you which pairs you use or which pairs you trade. For me, these are the only pairs that I trade. So after doing so, make sure you click apply the filter. This icon here. Click apply the filter, and this is what you will have. So the platform will only show you the high impact news, the ones with the red, and the medium impact news, the one with this. Is it orange? This color. Those are the only news that you will see. Now here you have the date. These are the days of the week. Whereby we have here from Sunday all the way to Saturday. But the news, remember, we trade from Monday to Friday. So these are the news that you should be paying attention to. Now we have the time of the day when the news will be released. So the time will reflect there, depending on the country that you are in. But according to my country, these are the time zones. Then you have the currency itself. So you have the GBP, Euro, all the way down there. Then you have the impact. This is the impact that this news will have to the market. So remember, we have filtered the only high impact news and the medium impact news. On the right side, you also have some details here. We have the actual, we have the forecast, we have the previous, then we have the graph. So I need us to pay attention with these three columns: actual, forecast, and previous. So I will start from, let me go to last week. I can click here to go to the last week. I need to show you something. So these are the news for last week. You can see here from the previous, this is the data that for example, like in this week from September 28th to October 4th. So this was the data previously that was released. The Spanish flash CPI here by here or here over here. The previous data that was released, it was 2.5%. They had the impact of 2.7%. Now the forecast, this is what we are expecting. So this is what the analysts or the hazards traders we are expecting. So we are expecting a 3.1%. Then the actual, this is what will reflect when the news comes out. So if it is red, now that means it has gone below the what we are expecting. That is the forecast. The forecast we're expecting 3.7%, but now the impact came to be 2.9. That's why you can see it is in red. Now, so the second one here we have pending home sales month over month. So previously it was negative 0.3%. So forecast, this is what we are expecting. So we're expecting an increase of 0.2. But now, actual, what came out was 4.0%. You can see here it is green, meaning now This is it was it is more than what was expected. Now, next one here we have a German prelim CPI month over month. So previously, from the previous data that was released, it was 0.1. We were expecting an increase to 0.2. So the data came out to 0.2%. So for this one, will not have there is so this news will not have any impact because it's neutral. Nothing changed. This is what we were expecting. So you'll find that there will be no much impact to the market. So for example here, I want us to look at the high impact news. For instance, like this, the ADP, that is the automatic data processing, non-farm employment change. This non-farm employment change, it means these are the number of people that got employed, with exception with the agriculture sector. That is non-farm employment change. These are the number of people that got employed, with the exception of agriculture sector. So previously we had people lost job here. If you have negative, you see these are the people who lost job. So we had a negative 3K. We had negative 3K. Then we were expecting a number to increase, 52K people to get employed. But now data came out to be negative 32K. Now, you see now, this data came, when you find that, the data that, the actual data, when you find the actual data, it's, uh, it's, it's different from the forecast, or the difference is high, because if you can see the difference between 52 and that 2, it's very big. So you'll find that this comes out as a shock to the market, and such news, it's whereby you'll find that you have a very big spike into the market. So these are the kind of the news that you should avoid. And remember, before the news was released, there was nothing here, so we don't know what will happen. We don't know how this news will come out. You see, you don't know whether it will be a positive, it will have a positive impact or a negative impact. So it's advisable, and I can advise you, just don't trade that news. Stay away from that day or that time of the day. If you have to trade, just wait for the news to be released. Then after that, you can look for your setup. So for this one, we are expecting the dollar, the US dollar pair, to be weak, because you see here we have a negative spike, we have a negative impact. I don't know whether you are getting, but now there are so many things that affect the market. You can find out that you can the calendar can tell you that we are expecting a weaker currency, but when you go to the chart, you find that the currency is strong. There are there are those things we call low impact. We have long term impact, and we have the short term impact. So I don't know whether you are getting. So let me now show you that on the chart. Let me show you that on the charts. We are going to look at this day. This was last week on Wednesday, October 1st at 3:15. We are going to look at any dollar pair. Let me go to Euro USD. We are going to Euro USD. This is the pair. I think it was what? Which day? On Wednesday, October 1st. October 1st, it was on Wednesday. So let me go to the chart and go to the calendar, October 1st. Then I click go. October 1st. Yeah, this is the day. I want to show you this. I want to show you this. So this is the time of the day. We are at 3:30. I think that is the time that the news was released. Let me go back to the calendar. It was at what time? 3:15, sorry. It was at 3:15 p.m. Going to the chart, you can see it was at 3:15. Now, let us look at the calendar. What is the calendar telling us? You see, the news were the previous data was negative 3K. Then we were expecting 52K people to get employed, but now we got a negative 32K. So less people got employed, less than what we were expecting. So this news came out as a shock to the market. So we are expecting the market, we were expecting now this to have what? A weaker currency. But now when you go to the chart, what do you see? The market bought. You see, we had a very big spike to the upside. You know, there are so many things that add up to the news. First of all, we have the trend. There's things that you should understand when it comes to news. You also need to understand what is the trend of the market, because some of these news, most of the time, they tend to follow the trend. Are you getting? So, for example, here you can see here we were bullish on this chart. So now trying to sell this news, there is high chances that you are going to lose. So when this news comes out, most of the time they tend to follow the trend of the market. I don't know whether you are getting. So let me go to next news. So we have seen the ADP, non-farm employment change. So when you go to our charts, to our news, where are they? Here. So for example, let me talk about this NFP. You know, the NFP are normally released on the first week of the month on Friday. Every first week of the month on Friday, that is when we have the NFP news. I can show you on the calendar. I can show you on the calendar. For example, like in this month of September, you see here on Friday, was this one yeah, but last Friday we did not have those news, guys. This last Friday of this month we did not have this news. Remember, we had the US government shutdown, so those news were never released. So there was nothing which was going on, so those news were never released. So that's why you can see there is no NFP on Friday. But let me show you. Uh, let me show you last month on Friday. That is September Friday. Here we go. You can see here on this was the first week, Friday of September. We had a non-farm employment change. Now we can look at this news. What data do we have here? For example, we have the average hour earning month over month. At the same time, we also had an employment rate at the same time. So the previous data for unemployment rate was 4.2. We were expecting these more people to lose the job, or the rate of unemployment to be higher to 4.3. So news came out to be exact at 4.3. So this one had not such there was no much impact. The same to average hour earning month over month. But when it comes to non-farm employment change, that is NFP, what happened? Our previous data was 79K, forecast was 5K. We're expecting this number to reduce to 75, but now it reduced extremely to 22K. So this news came out as a shock to the market. Now we are expecting those big momentum or those big spikes. We are expecting a big spike to the market. Now let us go to the chart. That was when? 5th September. I will go to the calendar. I'll go here to the calendar, then 5th September. 5th September. Let's go. Here we are on 5th September. At what time? I think it's at 3:30. At 3:30. See what happened? And there is something, guys, I've told you. These news, most of the time, they tend to follow the trend of the market. What do you see? The market here is a bit bullish. So we don't expect this news to be bearish. So now this is what we have at exactly 3:30. This is the candle that was printed. You see now we have a very big candle that was printed exactly at 3:30. Why do we have this big candle? The reason I've told you, the news came out as a shock. So when such thing happened, we are expecting to have a big candle or a big spike into the market. Are you getting? We are expecting a big spike to the market. Now let us look at another news. Let us look at mhm. Let us check on CPI news. We have seen NFP, and now you know the NFP are mostly released on the first week of the month on Friday. That is when we normally have the NFP news. Let us check whether we can see the CPI news and show you. We need the high impact news. Last week we didn't have CPI. The previous week we didn't have CPI. Yeah. Yeah, this week we had CPI news. This was on 17th September on Wednesday. We had a CPI news on GPP. We had a CPI here over here. Although you can see here this month, this news had no much impact. So we don't expect big spike on this pair on that day. Let us go to the chart. This was GPP. Let me go to GPP USD. Which day was that? It was on September 17th. So we go to September 17th. Go. What was the time? Let's check on the time. 9 a.m. 9 a.m. You see, this is the 9 a.m. guys. You see this candle? Can you see what I'm talking about? You see this candle? It's a very small candle that was printed at exactly 9 a.m. Why? Because the news was neutral. There was no shock to the market. It came out exactly as we were expecting it to be. So we don't expect to see high impact on that day. Now, let us look at the FOMC. FOMC, like the same day we had an FOMC, but now the problem with this one day, we didn't have any data here. I need the one with the data. Let me go back to the previous week before that and see whether we have. Yeah, for example, let us look at this CPI news. This week we had that CPI news. You see, CPI month over month, CPI year over year, then unemployment. These are the days that you should, guys, pay attention and stay away from this day. This is the day can make you a lot of money and it can also make you blow your account. Let us look at this data. You see now here on we had the core CPI month over month. So this we don't have any high impact. There is no effect here. The news were neutral, came out as you expected. But what about the CPI month over month? This one. So previously it was 0.2. We were expecting 0.3. We were expecting an increase. Now the news came out at 0.4, more than what we were expecting. So now we are expecting a slight movement. It's not that different from 0.3. So we don't expect much movement from this news. This is where we find just a spike with the long week, either on the top or on the bottom. We had the core CPI here over here. Previously was 2.7. Forecast was 2.9. Then we were expecting 2.9. So this was neutral. We don't expect much movement. But now I need to pay attention with unemployment. So previously, we had the number of unemployed people was told at 6K. We were expecting the number to reduce to 35K. Then now the number came out as a shock. This was shock to the market. Now we had more people lost job. That is 263K, which was a bit higher. It was higher from the forecast and also higher from the previous number. So now this news came out as a shock. Now we are expecting to see a slight movement, a big movement on that day. But now here, remember here we have a positive impact and here we have a negative impact. So this day, here it's what we call, so this is what we call a mixed sentiment. Here it's what we call a mixed sentiment, whereby we have a positive impact and a negative impact. So in such kind of a day, you will find that you have a spike to the top and also we have a spike to the bottom. So you find that these news are unpredictable. So you'll find that the market moved to the upside and also moved to the downside. I want us to go to the chart and see what happened on that day. It was on USDs. So you can also use GBP USD. On which day? 11th September. Let us go to 11th September. 11th, go. So here we are on 11th September, GBP USD. What do you see, guys? And I want us to pay attention at the time. It was released at 3:30. Let us go at 3:30. What do you see at 3:30? What did the market happen? I've told you this day we had a mixed sentiment. So we are expecting a spike to the to upside and also a spike to the downside. And did that happen? Of course, guys. So this is where the market opened. This is a candle opening. This is a buy candle. So it opened at this area, pushed to the downside. It pushed to the downside, then later on pushed to the upside. And we see the big wicks. Yeah, you see a big wick on the top and also a big wick at the bottom. Let us go to Euro USD and see on the same day. I want us to go to the Euro USD and check on the same day. What happened? Which day was that? 11th September at 3:30. 11th September at 3:30. This is exactly what happened at 3:30. You see a spike to the bottom and also a spike to the upside. So let us assume someone took a trade from here now. A stop loss maybe should be somewhere below here. And this person maybe was expecting a buy, for instance. Now, what will happen with this week? It doesn't matter even if your stop loss was here. Because of the spread, you will be taken out. Are you getting it? This is why you should avoid trading when you have the high impact news. So this spike to the bottom would have taken you out because of the spread. Then the market reverses and goes to your, maybe if you are looking for a buy. If you are looking for a sell, because here you can see we are kind of selling. If someone was looking for a sell from here, at some point you could have been in profit because the market opened here, pushed to the downside, then pushed to the upside. So you could have enjoyed some profit, but all of a sudden market reverses on you and takes you out. So when you have this kind of news, guys, please stay away from the market. Now for that guy and for you guys, for those who didn't know how to look at the calendar, which news you should trade, which news you should take part in, and which news you should avoid. And from what we have seen, and from what I've showed you guys, when you have this kind of news, guys, just don't take trade immediately. Just wait for the news to pass, then you can look for setup. See, when you have the CPI, FOMC, NFP, and unemployment claims. Although these unemployment claims, if it is not, most cases it comes with when you have the CPI and when you have the NFP. So stay away from these big four news, and then you will see changes when it comes to trading. So guys, I would like to stop at that point. So until next time, it's a bye bye for now.